Hello, I'm probably riding my bike. Been quite an eventful few days, and I've been riding my bike a little less, but I've got a good excuse. Some days I'll never forget. This late spring, the perfect Korean weather, best time of year. The temperature's in the mid-20s Celsius. The leaves on the trees are lush and green, and the azaleas are popping everywhere. It's absolutely perfect weather for riding a bike. And I'm riding around with an even bigger grin on my face than usual. My life's a bit different now. I just became a dad. Something I was never quite sure whether would actually happen, but it did. Not only did I become a dad, I became a dad of twins. Identical twins. Now, identical twins aren't genetic, they don't run in the family. Non-identical twins do, when two eggs are released, but the random splitting of a fertilized egg into two humans is not. But many people don't believe me, because I, myself, I'm an identical twin. Last year, my twin brother also had identical twins, and now I do too. Maybe we're some new genetic breakthrough. But I still believe the science I read on the internet from multiple sources that they're not genetic. We're just lucky. And if it was genetic, it would happen more often with identical twins. I'm sure there's instances of 3 people in the same family winning the lottery, but that wouldn't be genetic either. I said before I was never sure whether I'd have children. My wife and I have been together for quite a long time, and only married for 2. We were happy to be together so long, just the 2 of us. Financially, having babies is kind of scary and daunting. And also with impending climate doom, and sometimes how bleak the world seems, it didn't seem like a good place to have children. But eventually for us it just seemed right. Maybe it's a purely selfish thing to have children, or it's the ultimate optimistic act that you can do. Optimistic that the world can be better and they can grow up in a good place. I think if you are a parent, you kind of have to believe that things can get better. I'm on my way to the hospital. We've been here for a few days, and I went home to pick up some few things. And I was very happy to ride my bike to help clear my head after a very intense few days. Intense but amazing. Don't worry, I didn't make my wife ride her bike here on the way to giving birth. I'm actually quite enjoying this YouTube thing. I've decided to make a new account for things outside of riding bikes. Some of you might be keen to follow the life of a dad in South Korea, raising Korean British children. Some of you might have no interest at all, and that's fine. But check the link in the description if you're keen to follow. It's called Double Espresso Dad. I find making these videos quite cathartic. In daily life I'm a fairly kind of closed, quiet person, so it feels good to just let things out and talk about whatever enters my head when I'm making these videos. It'll be kind of like a side account. Probably riding will still be my main focus, just because I love riding my bike so much. Some people have said to me since they found out I had kids that I probably won't be riding anymore. And maybe I'll be riding a bit less, but it's how I get around. You wouldn't say to someone, no, you've had kids, you're not going to drive or get the bus or train anymore. But it will be at least a year until I'm actually riding with the kids. Here's the hospital. Very modern. Looks more like a department store than a hospital. This is St. Mary's Hospital in Gangnam in Seoul, in South Korea. Hence all the Catholic imagery and the odd nun walking around. been a whirlwind few days. Hospitals are quite strange places with their mix of grief and pain and suffering and new life and glory as well. Luckily, we're here for a happy reason. The night before the birth, we shared a room. But luckily, we got to change to a private room later on, avoiding all the snoring husbands. I was very impressed with the hospital, although I always imagined being more present for the birth of my children. I said goodbye to my wife down the elevator and saw the incubators going down a bit later, pacing up and down the corridors and getting regular updates on the progress by text message. And of course, getting some caffeine while I wait. Not my usual standard. I was so nervous for my wife to go through the surgery by herself, but I knew that she'd be amazing. Anxious pacing up and down, and suddenly I heard a scream down the corridor, and suddenly I was a dad. The most incredible feeling ever. I just wanted to hold them straight away, but I did have to wait a few days. Korean hospitals are another level of cleanliness and have a different approach to bonding. Well, this hospital did anyway. I'll share more of my thoughts about that on my other channel. After 3 nights of seeing my children behind glass and multiple bowls of seaweed soup, it was time to leave. It's going to be hard to prise these children away from my arms once I get hold of them. Usually when you're leaving hospital, you're way more nervous about entering the world with your children. Suddenly being responsible for these 2 vulnerable little creatures. But they do things a bit differently here in Korea. Most recovering mums spend time in the Sanhu Joriwon, the postpartum care centre. I'll just call it the Joriwon for short. It's like a baby hotel purely for the mum's recovery, where they have a team of nurses who help you look after the babies, and you get food delivered throughout the day to your room. Extra nutritious to help with your mum's recovery. And I got to stay there too. But there's a few things I needed to pick up from home, and something I left back at the hospital. Yep, you guessed. I had to come back and get my bike. It'd been locked up outside for a couple of nights. For some reason, I've no idea why. I was a little distracted, so I ended up filming this whole ride in portrait mode. I think you can understand why. Absolutely loving this monopole cargo bike. More than I expected. It's just so satisfying being able to carry these big duffel bags through the city. Oh, and by the way, I was wearing my Probably Riding shirt for the first time I met my children. It just had to be the first thing they saw me wearing. As I was saying before, I'll be riding a bit less, but still most days. I'm already scheming and planning on how I'm going to get my sons on my bike in about a year or so. But before then, there's still plenty of riding for commutes and small quests here and there. It's such a part of who I am and how I get around that I couldn't ever see myself not doing it. I'm kind of nervous on being a good dad and making myself present for them, but also finding some time for my wife and for myself too. Definitely the sacrifices that men and women make are unbalanced. I'm so amazed with how my wife handled her pregnancy and giving birth and now raising our 2 sons. want to do everything I can to do my part now they're here. We're staying at the Geordie one for a couple of weeks, where we'll spend lots of time with our babies, but also my wife will get a chance to recover, have some nutritious food, get some massages, and have some sleep to recover. That's one of the amazing things about these Geordie ones, is they have a team of people to help with the nights. And while we're staying here, I'll get some chances to go and explore a new neighbourhood and do some little side quests. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you later.